Hey mamas, welcome back to my channel. It is so good to be talking to you guys again this week. I hope that you have been enjoying the content that I have been uploading on this channel as much as I have enjoyed planning for it and then filming it, because I really enjoy sharing what I have learned being a teacher by profession. I also feel like I'm just a teacher at heart, and I really like to share the things that I learn. I am sort of like a researcher and I love to learn, and then as soon as I learn, I'm always like, who can I tell? Like, who will be positively impacted by what I just learned? So I hope that that's you, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. If you do enjoy my channel, I would love if you would just consider subscribing. It helps me grow and it makes sure that you, most importantly, don't miss a video and you know when I upload. So there's a little red subscribe button on the bottom of the video, and you can go ahead and press that, or right underneath the video, you can go ahead and press that and you will be subscribed to my channel. Once again, apologies for the wet hair. This is the second week in a row that I am air drying while I'm talking to you guys. So thanks for letting me do that. I did throw a little bit of makeup on this time though, but the lighting outside is like horrible. It's a super gloomy day and I feel like the shadows under my eyes are insane. Anyway, we're gonna get started. So a little bit different content this week. I'm gonna tell you or show you a little bit of the highlights from my birthday celebration, which was on Wednesday. Okay guys, so the crust is cooled off and I am about to put the soft ice cream, which has been sitting out for a bit, in here. Oh my goodness, wow, that is very soft. Ooh, let's see if it's gonna look like the picture. I mean, it's not yet because I have to freeze it for at least 4 hours, if not longer. We'll put it in the freezer. Let's see what happens. I am going to make a video that was requested, which is Andrew and I's love story. So super excited to talk about this today. As I was actually preparing for this video and just writing down some notes, I really remember just the feelings throughout the process of like leading up to Andrew and I being together, and it was so intense, guys. It was the most intense like year of my life. So let's jump in. So I guess it all starts when I liked someone else. I had never met Andrew, didn't know him, nothing like that, and I was struggling through whether to like hold on and wait for this other person to sort of get their act together and either want to be with me or not want to be with me. They really had me in limbo. He had me in limbo for quite a long time, and I was praying to God. I remember specifically exactly where I was walking and everything. I was alone, I was out for a walk, and I asked God, what is the name of my husband? And I was fully expecting that my mind would say this other person's name, and then like I wouldn't believe it was from God anyway, because I knew that that's what I wanted. So I don't even know why I asked, but I asked in earnest, and I heard the name Andrew. And I was like, what? Who is that? I don't even know Andrew. And at the time I might have been 28, 29, maybe 30. I don't exactly remember the year. But I was like, oh, I don't even know him yet. Like, I can't believe I have to wait this long. Like, I'm old. Granted, like, we didn't even end up getting married until I was 34. But I was like, I can't believe I don't know him. And I went through my mind like all of the Andrews that I knew. Some of them were married, engaged, or gay, and I was like, none of them are gonna be the Andrew, so it has to be someone else. And then I just sort of like was like, that can't be true. And I went on with my way and like kept liking this other person for a long time after this. But fast forward to 2014, and I was feeling sort of like burnt out at my job. I loved my job. Oh my gosh, I was a teacher at like the most wonderful school ever in Brooklyn, and I loved it. But it was tiring me out and I felt like I needed a break. And really it ended up being such a God thing, because if I hadn't taken that break, I would have never met Andrew. So it just goes to show you sometimes you have to like step out in faith on something, because if I had stayed and done what was like easy or just status quo, kept it the same, I would not have met him. So I decided I was gonna take a year off from work, and no matter what, I was gonna make it. Like, I didn't care what I had to do, but I just wanted this year off from my job. And I started talking to the missions pastor at my church, because I had gone on several mission trips before, and I felt like maybe this year I could go away for a few months and go on a mission trip. So that sort of led me on to a mission trip that I wasn't planning on being on, sort of last minute. And it was the Dominican Republic trip in July of 2014. So we always have meetings before the trip, and I was sitting in the meeting not thinking like anything, just like ready for the meeting to start, and in walk 4 young adults late. Now the missions ministry is not full of young adults, especially this trip. Like, there was maybe 1 young adult on the trip. And so I was like, oh wow, it was 2 females and 2 males. And I was like, oh my gosh, like young adults are here, this is great. But didn't think like too much of it. I was like, where are they from? Like, I'd never seen them before. I didn't think that they went to our church. They actually said, oh, sorry, we're late, we're coming from New Jersey. So I was like, what? And they sat down, we were going around in a circle and introducing ourselves. So it came up to one lady's turn, and then it was supposed to be Andrew, who had just came in from New Jersey, and he was sitting sort of like behind her. I guess the person that was next to her didn't realize, and so she skipped him and just started talking. And Andrew and I like made eye contact from across the room and smiled at each other. And then the rest of the meeting, we just kept looking at each other and smiling. And I was like, I like this person. So I went home and I stalked him on Instagram, of course. And I loved what I saw. Like, not to say that you can know somebody from Instagram, but kind of like not spied on, but I stalked his family, like his mom and his dad and his brother, and what his interests were. And I found out he was a drummer, and he quoted a lot of Matt Chandler, and he misled me because he had a picture of books, and I was like, he's a reader, even though he does not read books. And just like worship songs and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, this is like awesome. He's such a solid guy. So on the trip, we started to get to know each other. All of us really became friends. And then after the trip, I forget like who texted who. Honestly, it might have been me. And we just text each other all day, like till midnight, multiple times that first week that we were back. And we were talking about God, talking about worship, talking about the gospel, talking about music, like all these wonderful things that just made me so happy. And I felt like I really like this guy. Like, this could really become something, like a friendship at least, if not more. So we all hung out for a while. Like, there kept being events, like we did a warrior dash together. He actually invited me to play flag football on their church's flag football team, so I did that in the fall. And there were little things that I felt like maybe he liked me, maybe he wanted to be around me. I went to like a concert at their church. We were just basically like hanging out for a while. And we talked all the time, like not a phone conversation, but texting. We would text basically all day, every day. And we talked about so many different things. We'd talk until bedtime every night. So I really felt like there was no one in my life who was a guy that I had anywhere close to the same friendship with as with him. And I felt like there was no way he had another girl that he was also talking to all day, every day until bedtime. Like, can someone really manage that? So I felt like I was like a special friendship to him, and I kind of expected that it was gonna go somewhere quickly, but it didn't. And I remember it was my birthday, and I was getting sad that he like wasn't making a move or, you know, being even flirtatious with me, although we talked all the time. So I was also in Christian counseling at this time. So I remember I was talking to my counselor about the situation. She was like, you need to be honest with him. Like, you need to make, not the first move, but like you need to just have an upfront conversation and ask him what his feelings are. And I was like, I don't want to do that. But I decided to be brave and to do it. So after my birthday, I kind of asked him like, are we anything? Like, I called him on the phone and asked him what his feelings were. And he was basically like, I just see this as completely platonic and I don't want anything more. And I like your friendship, but I just want to be your friend. So that conversation did not go the way that I wanted it to go. And we basically stopped talking for only like a week or two, but he still was like sending me sort of signals that he missed me. Like every time I posted something on Instagram, he liked it within the first like 10 seconds of me posting it. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, we're not even friends anymore. But eventually we talked, and I forget like who broke the silence. It was honestly probably me. I was crying like so much that week. I just couldn't even like handle it. And I felt like, you know what, I could handle just being his friend. Like I miss his friendship, and I won't worry about whether he wants to date me or not anymore. Like I just want his friendship back. So we talked, and he was like, I really missed you. Like I missed your friendship and whatever. And we decided like we're still gonna talk. And he was like, I'll just act like a total weirdo so you don't like me anymore. I was like, okay. So we were friends for a bit of time, but not that long. So around this time that we started talking again, I got an email from someone from my old job who realized that I wasn't there anymore. And she actually offered me a consulting job in Hoboken, which is in New Jersey. And that's where Andrew lived. So I really felt like my heart was pounding when I got that email. And I felt like, God, are you moving me to New Jersey? Like at the time, I had been staying with my best friend rent-free, like because she was such an angel. She just let me stay there because I really wasn't making money. I was volunteering at an Arab American center teaching English to people who had just come over, women who had just come over from the Middle East. And I was teaching swim lessons like a few days a week, but it would not have been enough to pay rent in New York City. But I knew that once I got a full-time job the next school year, I wanted to buy and not rent anymore. So I'd been saving money for close to 10 years to buy something. And when I got this offer in Hoboken, I felt like maybe I should buy in Jersey. Like I really like TCC, the church that Andrew goes to and that these other young adults went to. I really, you know, have been to a bunch of events there. I'm liking it. Like I'm kind of drifting away from my old church. It's too big for me. My best friend had left that church for a smaller church, and I just felt like a change was coming. And so when I got this job offer, I was like, what is happening? Like I'm kind of freaking out here. So I ended up taking that job, and that consulting job actually later in the year turned into a full-time job for the next year. And I did end up moving to New Jersey, but this was sort of the time that that process started, was me deciding like, Andrew and I are just gonna be friends. That's it. I get this email. So then in January, let me see, January 5th, 2015, I wrote Andrew this email. So I'm gonna read it to you. So I'm waiting all day, checking my email to see if he's gonna email me back. Then I go on Instagram, and I realized that he unfollowed me. So he read it, he didn't respond, and he got so mad that he unfollowed me on Instagram. So I was like, okay, I guess our friendship is really over. So I didn't say anything to him. I was sad, I was like crying. Like it was really hard because I felt like he liked me. I really felt like he liked me, and I didn't know why nothing was happening and why he was just letting our friendship go. So I told you I was like trying to find a new church. So I was visiting a few different churches, and I ended up going to this church called C3 on a Sunday night, like a few weeks later. And I was there, I was like meeting new people, talking to new people, sitting with them. And as like praise and worship is about to start, doesn't the usher come down the aisle and seat Andrew Santana? By the way, C3 is in Brooklyn, okay, in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Andrew, who had no idea I was gonna be there, in the row right in front of me. And I was like, this is unbelievable. So I texted my friend right away. I was like, oh my God, Andrew is here. Like what, how did we end up in the same place? Like Brooklyn is huge. He lives in Jersey. Like why is he here in the row right in front of me in church? So after service, he actually came over to me and talked to me and was like asking me how I was doing and telling me a few things. And he was like, you're so much braver than I am. I don't even know what that meant, but I was like, okay, maybe it was about just coming to church by myself, whatever. But actually after that, we started talking again. We just couldn't like let it go. And fast forward, that was like the end of January. Fast forward to, honestly, it was like May, and we were still friends. he was definitely starting to like me at this point, and he was my realtor to help me move to New Jersey. I had some moments where I was like, why am I moving here and going to this church? Like, what if I see him date and marry someone else, like right in front of my eyes in this church? Like, I'm not gonna be okay. But I really felt like God was calling me to TCC, that he was calling me to this new job in Hoboken and to buy my own house. So I closed on my house June 1st, and he came around all the time to like help me fix stuff, whatever. But I wasn't banking on being with him. So I actually signed up for like a dating service or whatever. I think it was free. I forget what it even was. But I just wanted to meet some guys and like try to find someone, because I felt like there's no hope with Andrew. Like, we've been friends now for a year and nothing. And not even just friends, like best friends. So at one point I was telling him about like an issue I was having in my dryer, with my dryer. And I had gone and gotten the parts and I couldn't put them together. And I was like, oh, can you help me or something? And he was like, oh, I'm at work. I don't know what he said. He gave some excuse. And I was like, okay, never mind. Like, I found someone else to help me. And he was like, a guy? And I was like, yeah. And it was one of these people that I had met on this thing. He actually didn't come over and help me, but he like sent me a video on his phone of what to do. And Andrew was like, don't have him come. Like, I'm coming over after work and I'm gonna fix it. And like, he tried so hard to fix my dryer, and he did fix it, but like it took him a really long time. And he was like, he'd never fixed a dryer before, but he did not want another guy to come over and fix my dryer. So I was kind of like, okay, what is happening? So then it was my housewarming party on July 18th. And on July 19th, me and a bunch of my girlfriends went to the beach, and I posted a picture of us at the beach. And this same guy that was gonna fix my dryer had commented on the picture and was like, the girl in the red bikini though, who was me, with like heart eyes. And Andrew, I was at the gym, I still remember, and he was like, I'm in trouble. And I was like, what happened? And he was like, I'm getting jealous over you. And I was like, okay, what? And I was like, we need to talk. Like, we need to talk about this, because you can't just say that. Like, that's so unfair. Like, you don't want to be with me. You're jealous over me? Like, no. So he went and talked to a bunch of people that he considers mentors, some friends, and basically said like, I'm thinking of dating Kate. What are your thoughts? Like, could you see us together? What do you think? So he got some advice, and then he came by on July 20th and talked to me in person, and basically was just like, I realized that I really like you, and you know, like the next relationship that I get into, I want to lead to marriage. So I've been really slow to like make a move, but I guess this has sort of like prompted me feeling like I wouldn't be okay with you being with someone else. And he basically said like, I want to start dating you with the intention of marrying you. And it was so wonderful to hear that. And after a year of like really, really tough vulnerability on my part, because I felt like I was staying in this friendship that I kept being told wasn't gonna lead anywhere, but I couldn't break myself away, because we were best, like he was my best friend. Like, we were so close, and I loved talking to him, and it was so hard to be in that friendship and to not feel like maybe it was gonna lead anywhere, but I stayed in it. And I feel like God really honored that like vulnerability in just allowing that first conversation to give me some security as far as like, I want to marry you, like not asking to marry me, but saying like, I want this. I see potential in you as a wife, like day one of us dating. And it really made me feel secure about dating him. So we dated from July 20th, 2015 to February 19th, 2017. So about like a year and a half, a little bit more. And that is the day on February 19th that he proposed. And then we had about a 7-8 month engagement, and we got married October 7th, 2017. So all in all, we were married a little over 2 years after he asked me to start dating him. So I'm not gonna go through like the whole dating process as far as our love story goes, but that is how we got where we are at. And I hope that this encourages someone, because I know that dating these days can be really, really tough, and it's hard, I think, for everyone. Women sometimes I feel like really have to wait on the men to like make a move, and men are nervous for whatever reason to like make a move because they want to wait until they're sure or until they feel secure to actually like say, I want to marry you. So anyway, that is our love story. That is how Sweet Home Santana came to be. Actually, Sweet Home Santana was the hashtag for our wedding, and that is now my YouTube channel because I just loved it so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Next week's content is going to be on Olivia's 15-month update, so stay tuned for that. And then I'm gonna do some Christmas stuff, some Christmas like minimalism as well, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys are doing really well. Please leave me a comment down below on your love story or any other questions you have for me. Thanks guys, see you next time.